Retired Colonel Rich Outzen is a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council and the Jamestown Foundation. He's now joining us live from Washington, D.C. Colonel Outzen, good to see you again, and thank you very much for your time. Biden's approval to Kiev was kind of muted. Why do you think the West and allies of the U.S. are sort of tight-lipped about the move and Ukraine going ahead with the ATACMS? We've heard from the UK, which says that it wants to stay out of it. Germany has not given the go-ahead for the use of the Taurus missiles. It looks like an on-the-fence move by the West.
Well, good to be with you, Eric. I think this is part of the long-standing intent or interest from the Biden administration and European allies not to engage in a rhetorical escalation. Obviously, talking about nuclear doctrines changing and about the nature of the war changing, Putin's engaging in a war of words and threatening an escalation. But this is a game he's played many times before. And generally, the West has taken a step back. Oh, we don't want to prompt Putin to take any more forceful measures. However, in this case, I firmly approve of what they're doing. You need to look at what's going on the battlefield. The fact that there's 10,000 North Korean troops, probably with more on the way, helping the offensive against Kursk. The fact that there's been more territory lost by Ukraine in the Donbas region. That's the proximate reason for these anti-personnel mines. I think this is really a response to Russia trying to really up the ante and seize as much territory as it can prior to the negotiations that Russia and many others think will happen after Trump comes into office.
Colonel Outzen, why did America see it fit to allow Ukraine use their deadly mines in the war? The U.S. says the mines will be used to reduce Russian advances. Some critics say this is an escalation and America or Joe Biden is aiding it.
Well, I think that's a wrong interpretation. What the U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin said about this yesterday, I think, is valid. He said that the Russians have adapted their techniques. And let's not forget, they are the ones that launched this war. They're fighting in the Donbas on Ukrainian territory. What they've done is, after losing so many armored vehicles, they have started dismounting their infantry. So they have men on foot going in front of the armored vehicles to attack and to reduce Ukrainian positions. And they've had some success with that. So rather than allowing the Russians with their new technique, their new approach, to seize even more territory, the most suitable tool for that is these anti-personnel mines. And again, the United States does not recognize these as a banned weapon. So let's keep in mind it's an offensive war being fought by the Russians, and this is a legal, legitimate, and effective tool to stop something they started doing.
With that being said, finally, Mr. Outzen, what do you think about the advisories by embassies in Kiev? What could have stoked them?
Well, I think, of course, there's massive attacks with drones, rockets, and missiles that have gone on virtually since day one in this war, which has just gone over 1,000 days, as many people noted yesterday. So I think intelligence warnings, especially since Putin did say after the ATACMS were used on Russian territory that Russia will retaliate against, including up to and including Western targets. So I think that the logic of that is that embassies are not off limits to the Russians now, and I think they would like to make some sort of a statement by attacking Western interests. They might have even warned that tacitly. So in my view, it's a prudent view. You don't want to make a panic and permanently shut down these diplomatic facilities. But if Western diplomatic communities and embassies have gotten wind that there's a likely attack on the diplomatic areas by the Russians, which I find very plausible, then they're doing the right thing.
All right, we'll have to leave it there. I've been talking to Colonel Rich Outzen. He's a senior fellow at the Atlantic Council and the Jamestown Foundation. Retired Colonel Rich Outzen, as always, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome, Eric. Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.